What is up, everybody? It is Wick here. Got a great video for you today. Going to go over 10 things that I'm actively looking for out in the wild. Did a video like this about a month ago. People seem to really like it. I challenged everyone to go out and try to find this kind of stuff. These items have been on my bucket list for a while. I've been knocking a lot of stuff off my bucket list this year, so this stuff is out there. It is possible to find. Doesn't mean you're going to find it. It doesn't mean I'm ever going to find it in my lifetime, but many of these items I talk about, I do end up finding. So I've said it many times, I love the thrill of the hunt. So I kind of put certain items on a pedestal. These are going to be 10 of those items. If you do enjoy this type of video, don't forget to hit the like button for me. I'll keep making them. And let me know in the comments if you found any of this stuff. Got a lot of comments in the last video where people found some of the items I was talking about, made some great money. But let's jump into it. So this first item here has been on my list for a while of things to find. Talked about it on the channel before. It's the Evergleam Christmas trees. Or not even just Evergleam, like the aluminum Christmas trees that you can find. Some of these are worth thousands. I've even seen some of them sell for over $10,000. I remember the first video I talked about one of these, somebody let me know that they found one of these in the trash on the curb. And I think they said they sold it for like $4,000 or something like that. But these aluminum Christmas trees, they're vintage. I think they're just from the 50s and 60s. You can see this one showing $8,000 for a sale. Here's a pink one, 22 bids, over $2,000. 1,000, 1,800. Lots of them are around the $1,000 mark. Keep in mind, this is July. These things will start selling and the price will go up quite a bit as we get closer to Christmas. I was at an estate sale a couple weeks ago and they had some vintage Christmas trees and my heart started racing because I was looking at the box. I'm like, is it aluminum? Is it Evergleam anywhere on the box, you know? So anytime I see Christmas trees, I'm always looking for that because it could be a huge score. And here's a little bit of a bonus item that I talked about in videos before where it was on my bucket list to find one. And I found one this year, these Atlantic mold ceramic Christmas trees. Found mine for $8 in perfect condition. Phenomenal find for $8. Every year we're getting a lot of new people joining the channel. So a lot of you might not even know these ceramic vintage Christmas trees are worth it. There's a lot of newer ones being made as well, so people are still buying the old stuff. That's what they want. And they basically go up to $400, $200, so was happy to knock that off my list. The next item that's been on my bucket list that's been eluded me are these Merry Mushrooms. These originally came from Sears, and they made some cookware, I think, dishes, some other items, and all they are, they just have mushrooms on them, but people love this stuff. And even if you find some that's not the Merry Mushroom by Sears, they still have value because people like the mushroom look. So if you see anything old with mushrooms on it, it's worth a look. Here's some of these milk jugs, milk cans, around $700. Got the Merry Mushroom $600 clock here. So a lot of you are probably familiar with this, but this is definitely one of the bounties that I have. You know, I really want to find. Knock it off my bucket list. The canisters sell great, $403 for this one. This is the kind of stuff that you could just see at a garage sale. You could see at a rummage sale. And again, I've had people leave in the comments that they found this stuff and made lots of money when I talked about it a few years ago in a video. So here's even a blue set that I'm not even familiar with. I like the title of this one, Mid-Century Grandma Core. Is Grandma Core a thing? I've never heard of that. This is one of those items I fell in love with. You'd see it in movies sometimes. I specifically remember Back to the Future in the beginning where all the clocks are on the wall. They had some of these cat clocks. This is one of those things, if I found out in the wild, I probably wouldn't be able to sell it. I'd have to put it on the wall. In fact, I have a great spot in my kitchen. I would want to put this. But it's from the 1950s. The tail moves back and forth like the pendulum. And there's different variations. You got this one here. Cat Tex Souls, which isn't the same thing, but still a really cool looking clock. But they made other animals, like an owl and a dog. Here's an owl, $418. I'd be happy finding the owl, right? But I'd prefer the cat, even the dog. I'd probably sell the dog. Not that I don't like dogs, but I don't think it looks as cool if we see one. Yeah, this one right here. This one just looks kind of creepy. I guess the cat looks really creepy too. Here's an orange jeweled one, $300. So if you find them, they're definitely worth a lot, and they stand out, right? This is another one of those items that I'm desperately looking for. I just want to find it. I go to so many sales, I feel like at some point I will come across one. Here's another one that's been on my bucket list for a while. I don't know if I'm ever going to find one of these because they are pretty rare. That's these JVC Video Sphere TVs. I just love that retro look. Again, this is something I probably wouldn't be able to sell, especially if it works. Now here's one that sold for $720, parts only. They might be selling it as parts because it looks like it's working in the picture, maybe because they haven't been able to fully test it. But yeah, they sell for around $700. Here's some for $400. All this stuff definitely depends on condition. If you find this stuff new, I can't even imagine what some of it would sell for, right? And I've talked about how much these older TVs are selling for, not even the ones that are cool like the Video Sphere here. JVC made another one. It's these pyramids, probably more rare than the Video Spheres, but I think they're cool looking. Not as cool looking as the Video Sphere, but you know what? I'd be happy to find one. I'd probably flip this one. And of course, just normal looking old TVs, CRT monitors are selling for a lot right now. Certain ones, these things can be a pain to ship, but old video game players, old retro people are buying these things because you can't find them anymore. People got rid of them. And if someone still has one, you can usually get it dirt cheap. People want to throw these away, get rid of them. I could talk about these TVs and monitors for a while, but if you just focus on something like the Sony Trinitron, like the one from 72 here, almost $1,000. And some of the other versions, even some of the newer versions, like here's one that you'd probably see in the 90s, I'm guessing, right? It looks like a 90s, maybe early 2000s model. They're still selling for like $350. Some of these people have like $400 shipping on these, right? 3 listings here. Sometimes you see weird stuff like that and you don't know for sure what's going on. But the general idea is the Sony Trinitron is one of the things people look for gaming. Like you can see a lot of people have a Nintendo hooked up to it showing Duck Hunt. So these are not really on my bucket list to find as much as the, Video Sphere. And I kind of hope I don't come across one because it's just heavy and annoying to deal with. I know I can make a lot of money on it. So it'd be hard to leave behind, but just spreading some knowledge out there for anyone who wants to deal with these things. So you end up becoming obsessed with things when you resell and you are looking for things. I became kind of obsessed with finding Lisa Frank stuff because I learned how valuable it could be. It's one of those BOLOS where if you don't know about it, you probably wouldn't think a binder would sell for like $100, $200. I found one at Goodwill one time for $1. I sold for, I think, $130. But what I've never found before are these Zoomer and Zorbit aliens. And these are mostly made for girls, right? The Lisa Frank stuff. But I just love the aesthetic of these binders. With the aliens, they're so 90s to me. And they have started remaking some of these alien things. Like there's an alien bag, which still sells for like $300, $400, even some of the newer stuff because they didn't make too many of them. But the older stuff like this, like just this little day planner here, you're looking at around $400 for the aliens, right? And even some of these like pencil cases, people collect this stuff. They want it. I don't know exactly how many people want it to use, but it's definitely trendy and it's rare, so people will pay up for it. Like here's some of the original alien backpacks, and I remember seeing one time when I was doing a video talking about this stuff, it was just the alien head backpack, and it was selling for a lot. So if you're not familiar with Lisa Frank, it's good to just go through, do a search on eBay and look at the aesthetic of this stuff because you can easily walk past this stuff if you don't know what it is, right? Because it just looks like a day planner and you never think it was worth money. But as far as Lisa Frank goes, it's one of the things that I really want to find is these alien Zoomer and Zorbit type items. So in one of my What Sold videos recently, I sold some scratch and sniff stickers that I got at a garage sale. I think I paid like 50 cents and I sold them for $30. And it's been like 3 or 4 years ago. At this point, I think I made a video. I was talking about scratch and sniff stickers. And a lot of people couldn't believe that I sold those for $30. And I'm thinking, you must not have caught the video where I was talking about these things selling for a lot more than 30. And of course, it's certain ones that are desirable. Not every pack of scratch and sniff stickers are selling for $400 here, but what I find to be the most desirable are the scratch and sniff stinky stickers. And anyone that's, grew up in the 80s, maybe even early 90s like I did, maybe not everyone, but I had some comments where people were saying they remember these from school. The teachers would use them as like rewards for doing homework or whatever. And that's the experience I had. Some of these stinky stickers are worth money. You can see upwards into hundreds, like 72 of them here. And it's crazy because I look at these, I remember each and every one of these stickers for the most part, like the ham here and this one here. What is that? The pickle or something? I remember specifically those. In fact, it's crazy. I can even still smell these in my head. The popcorn one, the grape one. So if you can find this stuff still new and unused, you're probably going to make some decent money, especially the more you find. And I'm sure a lot of people, watch these videos. They don't really believe me exactly that some of this stuff will sell for this. You just have to do the research and check to see how many of things are selling. When you see a very high price on eBay, it doesn't mean that every item is going to sell for that high price, but you want to look at the average of these items, what they're selling for. Like here's a collector's album for these scratch and sniff stickers, and it's still like over $100. Here's one for skeletons. I don't know what a skeleton smells like, but I guess that's why they're stinky stickers. But I know thrift stores and rummage sales, a lot of them have crafty areas that you can dig through boxes. You just never know when you're going to find like a big lot of these things. So something I've been obsessed with recently is the Carheart jacket hunt. Carheart jackets are really hot right now. Certain styles are selling. As I was putting together this video, someone left in the comments that they had just found an Aztec Carheart jacket. So it's kind of crazy that I was putting these in the video and somebody had commented on that. But again, it's just proof that this stuff is out there. I was at a sale like a couple weeks ago and someone had around like 15, 20 Carheart jackets that they were buying that they beat me to. And some of them looked very old, so it could have been worth thousands of dollars. Very disappointing. So you're looking for certain ones that are older, the Detroit style, the Aztec style, and I really want to find one of these Aztec style Carhartt jackets. You can see certain ones here, $600-$700. So, and I feel like every community sale and neighborhood sale I go to, I'm seeing Carhartt jackets out there, whether they're vintage or not. Best one I've ever sold was for $500. So come across an old barn sale, they might have a few of these. You just never know. And it's not just the Aztec ones that are good, right? Like here, like there's better ones, especially the like 40s and 50s style here. One shows 14,000. Who knows if it actually sold for that? But still, some of these are selling for over $1,000. And you can just look at the tag and you can look for the number. If the tag's not faded, I find every time I find a Carhartt jacket, it feels like the tag's faded. But you see like this one, J97 CRI. You search for that and you can see how much your jacket's worth if you find one that's older, because I feel like a lot of people don't do proper research probably, and they just put these out there and they underprice them because they don't realize they have a rare one, because they all kind of look the same for the most part. The Aztec ones stand out, but for the most part, Carhartt jackets, some of these older Detroit style, look the same. And I find there's a lot of foreign people into these. Seems like people from the UK buy them, Japan. I don't know why they got so popular, but here we are. You can make a lot of money on them if you find them. A great bolo. Here's one I wanted to find. There's something about these that I like. I've never found one of these rubber-faced vintage Plush, and for the most part they have a good average value of $50, $100 up into the thousands, so they're certainly worth picking up if you can find them cheap. Got the sheep up here for over $2,000, a turtle, the devil is a popular one. I've seen that on eBay a lot. $760 for that one. A reindeer, but they're just easy to spot, right? So if you go to a sale and you see dozens and dozens of plush, you don't want to look at every single tag or Google Lens everything that might be valuable. These stand out. I feel like not a lot of people are aware of them. I know a lot of people find these. They've just avoided me for, the past 10, 15 years. So one day I'll find one. I'll be able to mark this off my bucket list. They're pretty creepy, right? Especially like the dog here. Have you found any of these things out in the wild? Here's a little bit of a bonus item. Mostly of what I want to find is the Ninja Turtles. These are plush chairs. And you see this kind of stuff at garage sales and rummage sales from time to time. And a lot of people wouldn't think they're valuable. Here's a Pee Wee Herman's, Playhouse from the 80s, $600 for that one. But you got this like Disney's 101 Dalmatians foam plush chair. Look like it sold for a decent amount. The Ninja Turtles one, $400 for Donatello. If I found one of these, it would be hard to sell just because I collect Ninja Turtle stuff from that time period. Here's a Raphael one, so 1989. Barney for $150. So just a little bit of a bonus bolo there for anyone who didn't know about these chairs. If you see one, look it up. It could be valuable. Oh boy, so this is a doozy. magic cards, some of the original vintage stuff. I know what a lot of you are thinking is this stuff is impossible to find. You're never going to find it. I disagree. This stuff is out there. Of course, it's rare, but it is very findable. This is the Black Lotus. This is probably the rarest magic card, and I would not sell this on eBay if I found it. It's not worth the risk. I'd go to like a big auction house or somebody professional, right? Because this card has sold, the alpha version has sold for over $100,000 before, and you just can't trust sellers on eBay. You can't trust, you know, shipping and all that stuff. It's just too big of a risk, right? But the Black Lotus, chances are you're not going to find an alpha, but still, if you find the one from the unlimited set, which is more common, I have found cards out in the wild from the unlimited sets where people just had magic cards. They don't know what they're worth and they're just selling them. They're getting rid of them. And, you know, when you're going through these things, if you know what you're looking for, it's very exhilarating because you could just come across this card very easily. So it is possible to find this stuff. I guarantee you this stuff's in people's closets and everything, right? And a lot of these cards are graded, which is why they're selling for a lot here. And of course, the condition matters on magic cards, but the alpha cards, what they call the Power 9, like the 9 most powerful cards in Magic the Gathering card game, have the most value. Like here's some of the other original cards from the alpha. You can see a lot of those are selling for $10,000, $6,000. Like even this Time Walk here, which was graded at a 3.0, which is very low, still sold for over $5,000. But that is one of my bucket list items. I want to find a card from the Power 9. Will it happen? Probably not, but it is very possible for it to happen. The thrift stores around here, they're putting out Halloween stuff, and I've been seeing some Scream masks come out. I've talked about this on the channel before. Some of the original Generation 1 ghost face masks. I guess they're technically not Scream masks. People use that in the keyword because the character in the Scream movies wore one of these, but these have surprising value. So every time I see one, I'm checking to see if it's old, if it's the Fun World one with the certain dimples, Generation 1, because some of these sell for a lot. You see this one new with the tag sold for around $3,000. You see some comps for others going up to like $800. Realistically, if you find one, you're probably getting $500-$600. Like here's one that is new with tags that only sold for $622, but this one's Generation 2. So if you find an old one, it's worth doing the research because they can be worth a lot of money. I have found some that are pretty decent and desirable. They have lots of variations. The best one I sold was like $75, I think. So even if you're not finding a Generation 1, some of the others, some of the different colors, there's one with like devil horns I sold for like $60-$70. Here's some vintage ones, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 being sold for $493. But I found some decent ones a few times, so this stuff is out there. Most people having garage sales or rummage sales, they don't think anything like this is worth a lot of money, right? So certainly a great bolo. Now's the time to be looking for them because thrift stores are putting out the Halloween stuff. There it is, everybody. That's what I have to show you today. Those are some of the items that I've been looking for recently. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hit that like button for me on the way out. I'd really appreciate it. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, flipping_junk. And this has been Wick. Till next time.